Fine. So we completed up to payables configuration. We opened the periods. Now we can go and create the invoices and do payments, and we can work on the payables process. So before we start with that, we'll see a rapid implementation process. How the setups can be, uh, how the setups we can automate in the system environment with the help of spreadsheet information. That means the setup relevant information we provide in the spreadsheet, that spreadsheet you can upload into the instance, and based on that information system will do the configuration automatically. That we call as rapid implementation.
I think instance got down from yesterday night.
Yes. The same we discussed. I think you maybe joined a bit late, not sure.
Okay.
Yeah. We have other instance. Okay, fine. So through rapid implementation, what we can, it's all about rapid implementation. Here we use spreadsheets. Say you want to see, when we talk how we started our configuration, we created calendar and we created chart of accounts, structure, and COA instance. We created primary ledger, we created legal entity, assigning the balance and segment values, completing business unit. There are many setups we have performed. So calendar creation, chart of account creation. When you say chart of accounts, within that we created segments, right? We assigned labels. We created instance and we submitted for deployment. We created primary ledger, legal entity, balancing segment values, assignment, and completing the primary ledger. And before that, after creating the primary ledger, specifying the ledger options, creating the business unit, setting up business functions, right? Business unit, business functions, and creating the location for business unit. All these setups we completed through manual process. So now we'll see how to load this setup related data into application so that these setups will be done by system automatically. So now what we can do is this relevant information you can provide in the spreadsheet, and that spreadsheet you will be converting into the compatible file formats. Those you can load into application, then system will do all these configurations automatically. We'll see how that process will work, so that this process you can use when you do the implementation. Now we started with this system, and everything we did through manual process, because we should have a command how, what is the navigation, how to do everything. Once we are comfortable with that, we can go through this process. That is the reason I'm taking this concept now. And when you are working on this instance for this practice purpose, if you see instance got refreshed, you can use this approach. If you are going to work for your client, you can use this rapid implementation approach only to load the setups. You no need to do through manual process. Okay, we'll go and see that. So this rapid implementation approach is applicable for many areas of the configuration. Now we'll see primarily the common configuration. When you say common configuration, our primary ledger and business units, whatever you do go and implement, we need primary ledger. If that applications are works at BU level, we need business units. That is the reason we have a separate sheet which allows us to create all this set of definitions in single sheet, and you can load that information to application. Based on the data, this all will be created by system automatically. That approach we call as rapid implementation. The simply we can call as RI. Okay, by using RI, rapid implementation, we can configure the system automatically. We'll see how it works. So this is a new instance which I'm using. Okay, so this is a new instance I'm using. We'll go and see the setups. I have a user called as new pod. So first what we have to do is we have to download the rapid implementation spreadsheet. We have to download the sheet. The sheet you can find within the instance itself. Fine. So click on username, click on setup and maintenance, go to FSM homepage. It's just loading. 1 second. I'll write the process here. So when you talk about rapid implementation approach, what we have to do is first download RI sheets spreadsheet, then prepare with data, generate zip files, generate files. You can say files. The format would be zip. Okay, generate files and import files to instance. Find setups in setups or say configuration in instance. So this is what we are going to do. First we have to download the RI sheets from instance only. Within the instance you can find rapid implementation sheets. After downloading we have to prepare with the data. We have to provide the data. So with what name I mean naming calendar you need, with what name, current chart of accounts, primary ledger, everything we have to provide the naming conventions. So how many primary ledgers, how many legal entities we use, all you have to write in that sheet. Then you have to will prepare with the data and will validate it. You have to validate the sheet. So once you validate it, that sheet will be ready to convert into files. So you will be generating the files based on the sheet which is validated. Then the files will be loading into the application by following the sequence. Okay, depending on which data you are loading, system will generate the files. And once you import those files into instance, system will do the configuration by using the data automatically. Then you can go and find the setups, okay, based on the sheet, which rapid implementation sheet you are using. Accordingly the setups will be ready. Fine, we'll go and see this process now. Okay, so we are
Lakshman,
yeah.
Lakshman, the COA structure includes loading all the values too for all the segments.
Yes, when you say chart of accounts, everything. Yeah, we'll see that.
Okay.
You just it may take a couple of minutes time to see. Okay, we'll
Okay. And what is the last function meaning? Sorry, I missed that part earlier when you explained. I see at the bottom of the spreadsheet you wrote function.
business unit business functions.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Lakshman, what about the implementation project, the projects you created? Even that also will come in fusion.
So 1 second. Sorry. Fine. So implementation project is not mandatory to create all these through rapid implementation spreadsheets. After once you use these sheets, this all will be created. And if you want to go and see that information, if you want to access to that information, you may create implementation project. Otherwise, without creating implementation project also, you can access from here, right? Want to go and see your primary ledger. From this page you can access to your primary ledgers or ledger options, right? From here you can do it. To complete these setups, to create all these definitions by using the rapid implementation spreadsheet, project definition is not mandatory. Okay, without creating the project, you can create all these in the system automatically. After creating this all the definitions, to have to access all these definitions and to do the further configuration or to do any kind of modification to the existing data, you may create the project. Without creating the project also, from this page you will be able to do those changes, but always it is recommended to have the project. Hope it is clear. Fine. So now the first step is we have to download the rapid implementation spreadsheets. So we are in this page. This is a FSM home page. Once you click on the user and when you click on the setup and maintenance, we will land on this page. Go to task list and click on search. From this page you can search for anything from any offering which is available in this instance. This page never point to the specific project or offering. It allows you to search and find any task which is available in the entire instance. Fine. Now just type here rapid. Just type the term called as rapid. Click on search. Click on search. Done. Now we are talking about chart of accounts creation, primary ledger and business unit definition. So that is part of this task list. Here you could see this is a task list. Here the type also they given as a task list. Within that we have a total 15 tasks. So after searching with the term called as rapid, you will find multiple task lists. Out of that we have to choose the task list called as define common financials configuration for rapid implementation. Just click on this task list. It will open the multiple tasks. So many tasks you could see as a part of that. Now what we have to do is we have to download this sheet. Sheet name is create chart of accounts, ledger, legal entities and business units in spreadsheet. Okay, you have to download it now. Just click on this and open it. Okay, save this file into specific folder. So what you could do is you can create one folder. You can create one folder called as so I'll say June 18 Cloud INC. Okay, we'll just do all the setups with this name. I mean, we'll provide the setup data with this naming convention in this instance, Cloud INC. Save into this folder. Continue. So we downloaded the sheet. First we downloaded. Now what is the next step? We have to prepare with the data. So here in the sheet, to understand more about the sheet, there are many instructions. When you do this practice, okay, when you are doing this, you please read all these instructions. You can understand more about it. But anyway, we are going to see that how it works. First instructions tab you have, please go through it. You'll get complete understanding about how this sheet will help us. The next tab is COA, calendar and ledger. Chart of accounts, calendar and ledger. So here you can provide the information. Based on that information, system will create chart of accounts, calendar and ledger. Fine. Provide the name. Name is Cloud IMC. So what is this name? Which name we are giving? Whatever the name you are giving here, this name system will use for chart of accounts name. When you say chart of accounts, for chart of accounts structure as well as chart of accounts structure instance also, system will use this name only. And the same name, with the same name system will create calendar. With the same name system will create the ledger. So that is the meaning of name here. The name whatever we are giving, the same name system will use for these three definitions. Currency. Okay, currency. Here if you notice, name is mandatory, star mark you can see. The asterisk mark indicates required, star mark. And currency field is optional. Why currency field is optional? You may have requirement of creating the multiple ledgers at a time. If you want to create two ledgers, one for India, one for US, if you here you can provide only one currency, then how system will understand the ledger need to be created for which country? So if you have a more than one ledger requirement through the spreadsheet, don't specify any currency. In that case, how system will understand? What system will do is, system will understand how many legal entities we have. Based on the legal entity, it will pick the currency and it will create the primary ledger. In that case, if the scenario is we are going to use the same chart of accounts, if we are going to use the same chart of accounts and same calendar, by using the same chart of accounts and same calendar, if you have a requirement of creating the multiple ledgers, in that case you can leave this currency field is blank. Otherwise, if you are going to create only one ledger for specific country, you can leave it blank. Based on your legal entity, system will identify which currencies the country uses. I mean, the currency belongs to the specific country. Accordingly, it will pick it. Okay, so that is a point we have to understand. So any question on this point, please? If we are going to create multiple ledgers with the same calendar and chart of accounts, then you can just, you no need to give the currency and that how many legal entities you have, that information you can specify. Based on that, system will create those many ledgers. Okay, but generally, like if that scenario you don't see most of the cases, that is the reason here we'll do the setups country specific. One time we'll use the sheet for to create complete the setups for India, and again next, I mean for other country again we'll repeat the same steps by changing the accounting calendar start dates and segment specifications and all. Okay, normally we use the sheet to complete the setups country specific. Fine. So we'll specify the currency here, even not mandatory. Yeah, please.
If we do not specify the currency, would it consider as a reporting currency ledger or is just
primary ledger only? By using this, you can create the reporting or secondary ledger. This is only for primary ledger. If you don't specify currency, what system will do is, so within this sheet only we are going to give the legal entity name and legal entity address. When system identifies the country within the address, the country uses which currency, that currency it will use at the time of primary ledger creation. Okay, so don't specify the currency here. You go and create the legal entity for India, then at the time of ledger creation, system will pick INR, or else create legal entity for US. At the time of ledger creation, even if you are not giving currency, system will pick USD, since you have a legal entity which belongs to US. That's how it works.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's only related to primary ledger, not secondary or reporting. Okay, done. So you may select currency or else ignore it. Doesn't matter. So period frequency. Okay, so this name system will use to create the chart of accounts name, calendar name, ledger name. Currency, at the time of primary ledger creation, currency also required, so the currency specification you may provide. And period frequency, the period frequency and adjusting period and physical year start date, these three fields system will use to create the accounting calendar. Okay, provide these specifications. The period frequency, say monthly, and adjusting period rule, say once at year end, and physical year start date, they are giving the format. You see the pop-up: month in 2 digits, date in 2 digits, year in 4 digits. You have to enter exactly, otherwise you'll get a error when you validate this sheet. When you enter, system won't give you any message. Okay, this is spreadsheet, but this is a slightly programmed by Oracle. Okay, they customized some rules they written within the sheet. Fine. So month, date, year, physical year start date. We have to start with a month. Say month should be in 2 digits. If you give John as a first and date as a first, and year as a 18, it won't work. When you submit this sheet for validation, it will fail. Here the pop-up, you could see the date should be in 2 digits, month should be in 2 digits, and same format you have to follow. So 01 John, month, date first, 01, year should be in 4 digits, 2018. Okay, this three field system will use to create the accounting calendar. Done. Now we have to specify the chart of account related segments. So you can list out which segments you required for your client. Say company, and for company, map segment label as a primary balancing segment. Department, for department, since we are going to use fixed assets, select cost center. Not only fixed assets, fusion expense also we are going to implement. And along with that, say company, we given segment label, we assign short prompt and display width. So display short prompt, the prompt should be like company. This is how the prompt should display if required in short. Okay, so display width, you can give uh, 5 digits, and for department, DEPT 5. And the next segment is account. For account, segment label is natural account. So account short prompt you can write maybe 5 digit number we want to have display width. Yeah, please.
Lakshman, the display width is the field width, right? Whatever we punch in the number.
Yes.
That's the field width we.
Correct. Yes. Okay, this will be useful for display purpose as well as the maximum size which you provide for segment values. For these segment values, based on these names only, automatically system create the value set. At the time of value set creation, you have to give the specification as a maximum size and display and all, right? So for that purpose, this will be useful. Yeah. And here you may have segment called as say LOB, line of business. For that you may not assign any segment label. And say future.
Can we have an intercompany?
Yeah, yes, we can have intercompany. Anyway, before we complete our course, this instance will get refreshed once again. So at that time, we'll add the intercompany segment so that we can test AJS. Okay, if you want to add S, you can add it. Fine. But before we go and test the intercompany, it will get refreshed. There won't be any use of including that in this stage. That's the reason I'm ignoring. So fine. So
Okay.
we included 5 segments. How many segments are mandatory in the chart of accounts? And what are those?
3.
3.
Primary balancing segment,
Two.
natural
Two segments,
accounts.
company and accounts.
Yeah, only
It's two.
only 2 segments. Which segments? Balancing and natural account segments. It can be your balancing segment. You can take any segment as per your requirement. Normally, the company, a branch or unit. Okay, how you give the naming convention, that's a totally different. Your legal entity may be your balancing. So any name you can take. But so when you talk about chart of accounts, 2 segments are mandatory. One is balancing. The second one is natural account. Those two are mandatory. Since in any chart of accounts, balancing and natural account segments are mandatory, to maintain the balancing segment related data, that means say company's data and accounts data, they given 2 tabs. Here see, companies tab they given. Here you can list out all your companies including the legal entities, and other tab they given for natural accounts. All accounts you can list out, all companies you can list out. Companies means normally balancing. Companies under natural account, for these 2 segments they given the tabs by default within the sheet. But what about the sheets for department, LOB and future? This totally you can decide, but the company and accounts are mandatory segments. I mean to say balancing a natural account. So that is the reason for companies under natural accounts they given 2 sheets to list out all your companies, to list out all your natural accounts they given. But rest of segments no sheets. Those sheets you can create automatically. Okay, so for company and account sheets we have, and for remaining segments we have 3: department, LOB and future. For these 3 segments, if you want, because for these 3 segments we have to list out the values, right? Departments we have to list out, LOBs we have to list out, the future segment at least you have to create one dummy value. So for that we need separate sheets into the spreadsheet, but we don't have any sheets here. You don't see anything. So simply you can add it. How to add? Click on add segment sheets, and you click on add segment sheets. What system will do is, system will look at this information. It will exclude primary balancing segment and natural account segment. By excluding these 2, remaining how many segments we have, those those remaining segments it will add here separate tabs. Okay, for these two segments, balancing and natural account already they given, since those are mandatory in any chart of accounts. So once you click on add segment sheets, by excluding the primary segment and natural account segment, primary segment and balancing segment and natural account segment, for remaining all segments it will add the tabs here. We'll see that. Click on add segment sheets. Added. LOB it added. Future it added. Department it added. Okay, so as you can move these into some sequence. So department, after department I am taking after companies, and after that natural account, after LOB then future. Done. So company segment, all companies you can list out. Department, all departments you can list out. Natural accounts you can list out. LOB, line of businesses, what client has, and future, all you can. So only two segments related sheets only by default you can see in this rapid implementation spreadsheet. Rest you can add, you can enter here, you can add the names. To add the sheets, click on add sheet, segment sheets. Any question here, please? Fine. Now we have to list out everything. So list out your business units. How many business units you are going to have, those you can list out here. Say Cloud Inc. US business unit. So what is the default legal entity for that business unit? You can say Cloud Inc. USA primary ledger. Sorry, legal entity. Done. The same way you can list out a number of BUs, how many BUs your client has, and associated legal entities. For all the BUs, LE may be same or different. Accordingly, you have to list out here. So with the same name, system will create the legal entity automatically. We know very well when you create legal entity, what are the details required. Those will be entering in the next sheet. Okay. In the business unit sheet, you have to list out the BUs and you have to list out the legal entity names. Done. Now go to the next sheet called as companies and legal entities. Here you have to list out all your companies. Here you can keep all your companies in the hierarchy. Child and parent 1, parent 2, parent 3, up to 9 levels you can maintain the parent levels. If you take example here, say you have a companies here, just for example I'm taking 0500. So these are your companies. For this, the parent company is this is a parent company. The same way you may have one more parent company called as, of course here we write the description just for our understanding. I'm writing this, maybe 12500. This may be your companies. So for these companies, this is a parent company. For these companies, this is a parent company. For these two parent companies, the other parent company could be 10,000. Okay. Again for this, and in the same way there could be a number of parent level 2 companies here. For all these you may have another parent company called as something else.
So to mention parent, we need to give on the top side every time?
Yes. That's how your system will understand.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. In case of EBS, what we do simply we'll go and will be just creating, right? We'll be marking a specific segment as parent. Under that will be assigning the child values or other parent values, right? This may be grandparent. That's it. So this is how you have to specify the relationship. Since these are parent values, all these, the system is grayed out to specify the legal entity related information here. Only you have to specify the legal entity related information to the actual values which you will be using for transaction. See, only these, the child values only, these fields are open. For which you mentioned as a parent any level, for all these fields are grayed out. Okay, this is what you can notice. Okay, so this is how you can use this sheet.
So why the child fields are not grayed out?
Because child values need to be represented with legal entity. With the LE association only you have to record the transactions. You have to write the legal entity names here. We'll see that. Parent means internal purpose, right? That is the reason no legal entity is required for that. That is internal purpose. So everything they programmed in the sheet. Okay, we'll see that how it works. Fine. Now here you can create the companies. I'll say I'll give the company value as 10,000. Cloud INC, cloud services for 20,000. Cloud INC PMO. Cloud INC BPO. Seems to somebody unmuted. My request is please. Yeah, thank you. Fine. This is how just you can list out. If all these are under specific parent, you specify the parent here. So parent, I'll say all companies. Done. See, whenever you given the parent specification here, see the field color got changed. So for this all companies, you cannot, you don't need to give any specification, right? For these three companies, you have to give the legal entity name. You have to provide the legal entity name. The whatever the legal entity you are providing, that should be associated with the specific business unit. Don't write any legal entity, copy and paste whatever you have legal entities which are associated with the specific business units. Done. So you know how to create legal entity in the system. Same process you have to follow. Better what you can do is here I will open the legal entity creation page and we will take the reference from there itself. Yeah, please. Any question?
Yeah, just want to have a quick understanding about the reporting, like the hierarchy, the parent entities. Are they meant just primarily for reporting purposes?
Yeah,
I just joined, so sorry for that.
And you know EBS, right?
Yeah.
And then it would be easy for us. See, so if you need for reporting for companies and all, you can give. Take example. I mean, you have a different. I mean, primarily for reporting, and we have some concepts like allocations, okay, or else some distributions and all. For specific concepts purpose, if you need, you can create it. Okay, and otherwise by default it is for reporting, primary purpose reporting. Apart from reporting, any other scenario you have to utilize, you can use it.
I mean, like when you say reporting, is it internal reporting or is it like the government reporting?
Normally internal reporting only. Okay, generally internal reporting only. If you want to if you want to have that hierarchy which supports internal and external, accordingly you can maintain the hierarchy. Okay, primarily it's internal reporting purpose we use these hierarchies.
Okay.
So here I'll go with a legal entity creation page. Yeah, please. Any question?
The summary accounts concept, allocation summary account concepts is there in the cloud as well? Because
we have here allocations. They didn't take it that feature from the EBS. They taken from the PeopleSoft. Other products they take.
Okay.
Allocation manager, you can see the feature in Fusion.
Okay. And how about summary accounts?
Summary accounts, yes, we have. So when you create the segments, when you create the segment values, there is one checkbox called as a summary, right? If you enable summary, the value will become parent. Okay. And under that parent, you can maintain the childs. and that's how system will be summing. Because see, here since they introduced this Hyperion reporting, the many things are simplified. The summary and all, you no need to create the relationships. Simply you can drag and drop, and you will be able to see the sum of the multiple accounts under a specific title of parent account. Okay, through Hyperion reporting, you no need to create that relation, and you can do it. But basically, you will create parent and child relation for reporting purpose. But however, we have in EBS summary and all that, without defining, you will be able to see the relevant outcome for the specific accounts. We'll see that when we work on that reporting part. I'll take you through that. Fine, here you can open the page called as legal addresses. Just we are navigating to this page to take the reference information, that's all. Just when we are going to fill that sheet, so we need some data input. For that reason, we are navigating to this page. We are not going to create anything from here. So take any one of the postal code. This information we can use to prepare the sheet. Then keep this as is. Okay. We given the legal entity name and identifier. Legal identifier is nothing but some registration number. The registration belongs to which country. Select it. United States. Address line. Write anything. Cloud INC. Address. And city, state, county, postal code. Those you can copy and paste from here. Copy postal code. And copy city name, state, county. Done. So registration number, any number you can enter. Sorry. Reporting unit registration number. Done. So this is how normally we create legal entity in the system. The same way, the name and address we have to specify based on that system create legal entity. Say the same legal entity. I mean, these three companies are running under same registration, same legal entity. In that case, if you select the legal entity here, automatically system will freeze this rest of fields since for the legal entity address and everything we given. You see here, I'll give the same name. What system will do here? See, freezed. That means legal entity name is same. That means address also same. Everything same. Again, you no need to enter. Done. That's it. So this is how we have to create your companies and legal entities in the sheet. Okay. So move on to departments sheet. Here also you can specify the departments, maybe finance, say HR. Enough, these two are enough for testing. And here you may say all departments if you want to give the relation. All departments. Okay, done. And natural accounts. We'll see this accounts entry after some time. We'll proceed with other segments now. LOB. So say consulting, and development. Just any values you can enter. Automobiles. For this you can give the parent. Fine. And the future segment. Any number you can specify. Default. Done. So this is how just you can enter the values in these sheets. Companies, departments, LOBs, future. Okay. So, and apart from that, here financial sequences, it's not mandatory. So it's all about we create the sequential numbering, right? That sequence, if you want to generate from here, you can give it. You can just look at that. So these are the serial transactions and transaction classes and journal types. If enabled sequence are created for each legal entity, ledger, and the serial country defaults. Okay, based on just if you want to create the sequence through the sheet, for we create the sequential numbering for payable invoices, payments, and receivables invoices, other than the respective numbering, right? For that, if you want to set the default information based on that, system will create automatically. So the sequence payable invoices, how you want to reuse that numbering annually. Once you want to reset the numbering, restart the same number from beginning or month. See, for example, I want to give one. This one system will, if I create a few invoices, it will start 1 2 3. The same numbering from one, again it has to restart from when. Never means it will keep running. Monthly means monthly once it will keep repeating the from number one annually. How you require, you can set it up. On this you can set, or else you can ignore it. Okay, so that system will create. You can you don't need to perform that setup. Otherwise, if you want to implement that numbering for this, you have to define that setup. If you specify here, system will create. Rest of setups we have to do it. Category association, etc.
Lakshman, is this mandatory?
No, not mandatory.
Okay.
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 Not mandatory.
And also, I think this is this limited to only these items?
Yeah, only these event classes.
Okay. Through this array. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, through this array. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fine. So we given the required information for, so with this name, system will create these three definitions. Chart of accounts includes 5 segments, and for each segment we given the information, and along with that business units, how many we have, legal entities. The same like here for each company we are given the legal entity. So that means this, why we given like this, as a part of manual definition, we'll create the primary ledger, we assign the legal entity to primary ledger, balance and segment values we assign to legal entities. So that system will do it. That means, so these three balance and segment values will be assigned to this legal entity. That is the meaning of why we are giving here. Manually, whatever we do, that should be done by system for system understanding. Okay, to automate the process, we are giving this information format. Departments we given, LOBs we given, future segment with default values, and numbering we given. Now we have to provide the accounts. Okay, natural accounts. So here basically we get all these accounts from the client and we'll be entering here. Okay, we'll get all these accounts from the client. The same accounts will be entering by following the hierarchies. Now for our practice purpose, we don't need to write all the accounts which are required. So within this rapid implementation sheet, they are providing the sample sheet also. If you go to instructions tab, within the instruction tab, if you scroll little down, you can find the sample data sheet. Okay, open this, double click. So this is a sample sheet they are giving. So they are using these segments. Okay, so let me maximize this. Yeah. So these many BUs they taken, BU USA, BU unit 2, Canada business unit, the sample data they given. So this is how they have their companies and legal entity as per vision instance. This is the vision data. By using this sheet only, they created setups in this environment as a part of vision. So these are the companies, these are the legal entities they have, and this is how hierarchy they built. Okay, and
In a typical, medium.
Sorry.
Yeah, quick question. Like, in a typical medium to large scale implementation, does companies use like this rapid implementation spreadsheets to load the data, or is it
always use the rapid implementation spreadsheet?
Okay, that's a typical. Okay.
Yeah, for any implementation, we go with the rapid implementation sheet only.
Okay, sure.
Rest you can go with the manual process, no issues. To specify these hierarchies and all, this is the best way of doing. The manual process.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, fine. So here you could notice these are the accounts they used as a part of this vision definition. Okay, and LOBs, these they taken, and the cost centers, products, financial sequence. This is how just they used. Now anyway, we prepared the data for all the segments except natural accounts. Now we can copy this data. And one more point, here if you see, they've gone up to 5 levels of parent values. And here account type, because when you create the segment values, we have to give the account type. And apart from account type, if you scroll little down, you see for account receivables, account type is asset. Along with asset, from LOV they selected asset account receivable. Asset account receivable they selected. What is the use of this? If you select this in accounts payables, automatically system will use this account as a part of setup also. Okay, and I'll tell you another point. It will be easily you can connect. We'll go to returned earnings. See here, we completed common options. In common options, we have prepayment account specification. If you give like this account is name is prepayment, but the category, this column name you can say. The column name is the account type. The next one is financial category. One second. Account type you given asset prepayment. Okay, financial category other asset, or you can ignore this also for prepayment, not an issue. So if you give like this, what system will do is this account automatically will configure in the common options. You don't need to enter, it will automatically set up the common options also by using this code combination. In the same way, liability account, accounts payable account. So here you have a accounts payable account. When you load this sheet, it will go and set up the common options. In common options, what are the mandatory accounts we have. For those mandatory accounts, if you can provide this account type, all the account types here, the liability, accounts payable. When you see the system, you'll see that accounts payable. Okay, that means this is a liability account which need to be selected in the common options. In the same way, you have a returned earnings account. So we discussed one point. When you submit this sheet, system will create the primary ledger automatically. After creating the primary ledger, what we did, manually we selected returned earnings account in the ledger options. But in the sheet, if you specify the returned earnings account type as owner's equity retained earnings, this value. Then system will understand, oh, this is the account need to be used in the ledger options to set up the returned earnings account code combination, and it will use and it will set up automatically. If you select if you provide returned earnings account, just ownership account, system cannot take. You have to provide the returned earnings account through manual process. So if you represent in this way, this account will be taken wherever it is required as a mandatory. It's required as a mandatory in the ledger options. Ledger options also system will complete by providing this returned earnings account. In the same way, few other accounts also. So based on this, wherever these accounts are required, so it will configure. But it is not required to set up all these accounts. Not just give the specification at least for return earnings account. For remaining and all, you set normal account types only. You don't need to give revenue to where system will complete the accounting code combination where you can provide the normal revenue account. That would be enough. For remaining all, you can do it. Okay, at least use retained earnings only for retained earnings account, owner's equity retained earnings. Then retained earnings account code combination will configure. Rest of all the account code combinations will be choosing when you do the relevant setups. For all other accounts not required, use for retained earnings account this account type. That would be enough. For rest of all, just they given as a sample data, but reality not required. You can ignore it. All is the expense account. You can take as expense only. We'll be setting which expense where we required as a mandatory and all that. You can do it. This is how you can specify. Okay, so this is the point you have to understand. Primarily you have to specify the retained earnings account, owner's equity retained earnings, so that this account 3-1
What about receivables and payables? We not required to select.
Not required. When you do the setup, you can choose and you can do it. Okay, not mandatory, but this you take as a mandatory. Otherwise, what happens if you don't set the ledger options, that you cannot complete the ledger definition? That has to be done by system. So what are the setups we are doing? Okay, this sheet will support up to here. Up to here. Primarily, this is the purpose of this sheet. So when you set the common options and other setups, all you cannot complete with this sheet. But if you provide this sheet within this, that specification, it will fetch that information into those sheets. Okay, but that manually you can just by giving accounts, you cannot complete the definition. You will be setting other specifications and all. So because of that reason, not required, but they give an option where by specifying here, there you can default that provision, that option they given, flexibility they given. By if you specify here account type with that liability accounts payable, in the common options liability field, this account code combination will be defaulted with the specific balance and segment value. But that is not required. We can specify along with that. There are some other set of information which will be configuring when you do the setups, right? When you specify. So as a mandatory, set retained earnings account as owner's equity retained earnings. Rest all are not required. Those you can do as a part of the module specific configurations. Okay, so this is a point we have to understand here. Yeah, please.
How would the other segments values selected? For example, the retained earnings is 31010. But when the complete code combination need to be created, system should know what company code should be used, right?
Do you think we have to use the specific company for retained earnings? You know how retained earnings concept works, right?
Just trying to recollect. No, so we don't need. I don't recollect the setup, but we don't need other segments. Just one.
The logic we have to understand. The logic is retained earnings, how it works, and it could be 11i, EVS, R12, or Fusion. Logic is same. So in the ledger level, you will provide the retained earnings account. Say you have 10 companies. Can you provide 10 companies in the retained earnings account code combination? No. So based on the transaction, retained earnings will get calculated. Based on the transaction, do the year-end process, right? So in that process, for which balance and segment values, what are the expense we have, revenues we have, based on it will calculate. Reality, you don't need to give the company in the ledger level for retained earnings. Only the account is mandatory. Account is mandatory since We cannot give only account segment value. We are giving other segment values. Any any value you can provide. But account make sure that returned earnings. That's it. That is the point we have to understand. Okay.
Laxman,
Yep.
in the same light, right? Just for the company, it's going to do dynamic insertion or something like that. But what happens to the departments and the other segments that you have?
For those also, any values you can provide. Any value. Return earnings field.
So you have to manually input those, right? It's not going to be automatic.
Possible that
the
is
only thing that will appear is retained earnings.
No. One point. Reality in the ledger level, we have to provide the returned earnings account only. Other segment values reality not required, but they given the option to choose the code combination. That is the reason you can choose any company, any department, any other segment values, but account make sure that returned earnings account. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. There is no need of focusing on which company you have to choose. You have 10 companies. Which company you have to choose? You need retained earnings for all companies. How you can decide here? No. That will be decided in the end based on your business transaction when you do the year-end process. Okay. So the income statement, the journal creation process and all, then the balance will get transferred, carry forward next year. That is the process we have separate. Year-end process will decide for which company how much retained earnings. But this account it will derive from here. Company or the segment department it won't derive from the this setup. That point we have in EBS case, same is applicable in the Fusion also, same logic. Okay, so now what we'll do is instead of entering all these into our spreadsheet, we'll copy these accounts from this spreadsheet to our spreadsheet. Fine. So notice how many levels they have account hierarchy up to parent 5. From parent 5 copy. So scroll little right. Sorry. One second. Up to 5.
Ashwin, how many implementations you have seen using this feature, RI feature, or is it realistic, or it is just one of the feature not used? So we don't go and create projects, because once you are using this methodology, you don't
No.
projects.
Project and this setup doesn't have any relation. Two are totally different.
Yeah, because I think the way I understand, if you are doing an implementation project, then you follow the task and create those. You don't go through this route.
No. When you are following that even if you create implementation project, after that you have to create the calendar, chart of accounts, and accounting method, business units, and all, right? Legal entities.
That's correct.
At the time, this sheet will use.
Okay, so we don't have to go individually by each task by task.
We don't need to do it. Whatever we did in our classes, that is for our understanding. Because you loaded through the sheet, something went wrong, something you want to modify. If you don't know that manual process, you cannot fix it.
Okay, so most of the implementation will be through this sheet.
All implementations which I have seen, which people are doing.
And I forgot, and there is a way to move setups from one instance to another. What is that feature?
So that is configuration packages. One second, I'm just.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I believe Lakshman, the Emma was asking the question. Lakshman, can you hear me?
Yeah, please. Yes, I can hear you, please.
Yeah, the question he was asking about is a dynamic insertion. When it comes to the code combinations,
yeah, tell me.
If that particular few segments are not available in your
No.
rapid implementation,
I never said few segments are not available. It will take automatically. It will take Okay, it will take first company, first department, whatever you have, first value it will choose. Allow dynamics you have to enable. When in the process of chart of accounts creation, system will enable automatically. If you remember, when we created chart of accounts also we didn't enable. By default, system will enable. Right? Do you remember as we enabled our system itself, it's enabled.
No, we enabled. But
We
the
didn't
question
enable.
is,
That's what we didn't enable. In case of EBS, you have to enable it. In by default, that is enabled. We didn't enable
okay.
natural accounts.
So even though the segment is
No,
not
1
available
second. Yeah,
as a part of
we'll
that.
talk on that. We'll talk on that. So I copied that values.
Okay.
When I'm copying, I copied from the parent file. Exactly, I'm placing the cursor here, paste it. Any message say, okay, take some time to sync this data in this sheet. It takes some time. It's processing. It is showing. Yeah, now you can go ahead with any questions, please.
The question was, is the segment value is not in the part of setup when we enter the code combination in the in the transaction.
One second. Segment value is,
let us say the departments which you entered is 10,000 and 20,000.
Yes.
That is not there, and as a part of the transaction,
it will fail. It cannot create the code combination. That's all.
Okay.
Even when you are doing through manual process, if some value is not available, can you create the code combination? No. The same happens in system.
No.
That's how it works. That would be
if the all the segments are available, but the
all the segment
code combination is not available.
Segments values are available.
That's what I'm. Let me complete my question, please. What I'm saying is, if all the segments are available, but the code combination is not available, in the EBS, we know the dynamic insertion allows us to system will create the code combination behind the screen. Is it going to happen the same way?
No.
That was my question.
Also, it won't create. If segments are available, if values are not available, how you can create?
No. Values are available, segments are available, and combination is not available. In that case, I'm talking about.
If you enable allow dynamic inserts, you can create it. If you disable allow dynamic inserts, before that you have to keep that combination ready. In that case, it will take. Same logic. Same.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, fine.
Can we run the rapid implementation spreadsheets multiple times just in case we want to add more data?
No, which data you want to add? Max, you may want to add this segment related values, right?
Yeah, basically more accounts.
Yes, more accounts. Yes, you can do that. For that, here in the instructions, you could see how you can do it.
Okay, so it's not a one-time deal. Okay, thanks.
Value set you can load. Value set data you can load.
Okay, right.
Yeah. One time you can go through these instructions. You will get some additional details also. That would be complete. But this is a process to understand. So I'm covering. Okay, fine. So everything we copied from the sample data. We copied companies' accounts data into our segment, and here the size also 5 only we have. We given 5 as a part of segment definitions, right? 5 we given for account. Done. So our sheet is ready. Any questions, please?
Where did you get all the sample chart of accounts values?
You are attending the session, right? Please don't mind. Just for confirmation, I am asking. No, I'm checking whether you joined in between or you are attending the session from beginning.
No, I joined and in between the internet disconnected, so I joined after.
Fine. So if that is the case, so this is sheet which we downloaded. This you are aware of it, right?
Yeah.
And we prepared this data. Within the same sheet, go to instructions tab. Within the instruction tab, here you could see one sheet called as sample data. I clicked on that, it changed the display. Basically this name, it appears as a sample data. Click on that, it will open that sheet. This is sheet.
Okay.
Fine.
And one more question. In the beginning, where from you downloaded, it was a task from where you clicked, and then it showed you a task, and from there you downloaded the Rapid sheet.
Yes, you are right.
So, and is that task under the implementation project only?
I just I shown in the class, right? Again, if you're asking the same question, I don't know, like whether I have to repeat or we have to discuss later.
No, I'll go through the video. That's fine.
Yeah,
Today,
please. Fine. That not required. You don't need to go to project directly. You can search from FSM.
I saw that you directly searched from FSM. That's why I was asking: is that
What
implementation task or it's a
how you searched? With what name you searched? No, I'm
you
asking
go to the
how you search, for what you searched.
you rapid. The keyword was rapid, and you did the
I'm
search.
searching here. You see that? Maybe spelling mistake. You please check it.
Okay. No.
Yeah.
Okay. No. Okay. So these are part of the implementation project. I saw this and I know this. But since you did not go to the project, I was making sure it's part
of implementation project. Even if you don't have project, also you can do it. That's what I'm saying. So it's not part of implementation project. Outside of the project.
Okay.
Yeah. You don't need to go to project. Now in this environment, this is a new instance. I don't have any project in this which we created. Okay, directly you can just go to search. You can search for Rapid.
Okay, that's what I saw, and hence I was confirming: do you have to go to project or you have to?
Not required.
Okay.
Not required.
Yeah, I got it. I got it now. So
yeah.
Thank you.
Fine.
Lakshman, can I ask you this question now, or can you ask me a question in the end of the session?
Yeah, please, you can ask. See, please don't mind if I ask any question. That is only for my understanding, just to plan, to think on that, how to respond, and what exactly I can come back to you to saying, depending on your understanding. That is the purpose I used to ask sometimes questions when you raise some point. So, but there is no other purpose behind it. Please, that's my request to take in that way. Okay, yeah, please go ahead with your question.
Lakshman, let's say I just want to have a project created, okay, and I want to do the rapid implementation to make myself easier and upload all this configuration in this environment. Can I do that way?
Yeah, before project or after project creation, you can do this. It won't make any difference.
Correct, but yeah, you are right, correct. So these are all the understood. So there is no related,
no.
But I was just asking the process.
No.
We need to follow the way, not required.
I'll tell you that. I'll tell you the point. You created project and you completed the setups, and from your project you cannot find these definitions in the selected scope until unless you go and access these from your project. You didn't create any project, you completed these setups. After completing these setups, rapid implementation, you created project. Same equal. Even if you create project before you do the setups or after creating the setups, the status of project remains same. Once you start accessing these setups from that project, these will be tagged into that project as a selected scope. That's all.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's the point we have to understand. Fine, done. Okay.
Can you do the subledger in the rapid implementation?
Roy, your voice is low. What's your
can you do a subledger in the rapid implementation? You're doing the primary ledger right there. Can you do the subledger?
Yeah, subledger. Certain setups we have that you can see here. where we can use this rapid implementation approach. Say rapid, search for rapid. Here you can go through all these. See here, module wise also we have a setup configuration. This is for common financial configuration. So in the same way for procurement we have, if you talk about financials, so we have here those, you scroll a little down, you could see the fixed asset related setups you can perform by using this rapid spreadsheets. and other invoicing and payment, nothing but payables and purchasing related. You could see here, you can find out receivables related setups, sourcing related, all you can find here. Okay, if you talk about fixed assets, see here fixed asset task list we have for Rapid, and click on that. So for fixed assets, so which data you can load, you can see here. So create fixed assets configuration in the spreadsheet. You open this sheet and enter fixed asset setup related data, and convert this data into file and load it. FA setups will be ready. Okay, the same approach. If you understand this, rest you will be able to do it. Fine. Okay. So now our rapid implementation spreadsheet is ready with the data. These are the segments. These are the BUs, one BU. These are the companies. These are the departments, accounts, everything we copied from the sample data sheet. LOBs we entered, future we entered, financial sequences we entered. Done. Now go to the first tab, COA, calendar and ledger. So we enter the data within the sheet. Okay, now we have to validate. That is the first step. Okay, first step is we have to validate. If somewhere if you enter some wrong information, system will identify. For just testing purpose, what I'll do is I don't take here the format. If you place the cursor, it is showing month should be represented in the 2 digits, but I'm representing in 1 digit. I'm taking 1 digit. Now if you click on validation, you will get an error. COA. Within the COA tab, we have COA calendar ledger tab, we have some issue. Date must not be prior to the 1950 and enter a valid. This is one of the reason that got failed. Specify date of 28 or less for the calendar month period frequency and all that specifications. So validation report, new tab system added into that same sheet. So now what we could do is you can go to that tab, correct it. Here it's marking also. So 0. Now you can go to validation report page and again click on validate. Or also directly from that page also you can validate from here also. See, validation successful, no errors found in our entire sheet. Okay, so after entering the data, you have to click on validation. So you have to make sure that no errors. If any error, system will give you the message, accordingly you have to correct it. What is the second step? So we have to generate the chart of accounts file. So this is a sequence we follow, right? First we'll create the chart of accounts. Once chart of account is ready, we'll go with the primary ledger creation and legal entities, business unit, associations and all. So we have to create the 2 files. First we have to create the chart of accounts file, and next we have to create the ledger, generate ledger LEBU files. So generate chart of accounts file first. Click on this, it will generate the file. So this is a folder we created, right? Chart of accounts. Save it. Now we have to generate ledger LEBU file. Click on generate. Save into the same folder. Done. The files are ready. Now we have to load those files into application. From where to load? So how we just navigated to this spreadsheet. We have to search for Rapid, and this is the task list, common financial configuration for Rapid implementation, and this is a link we use to download the file. Create chart of accounts, ledger, legal entity, business units and spreadsheet. Now 2 files we created, one file for chart of account, another file for ledger, LE and BUs. So next to that you could see the task called as upload chart of accounts. By using this upload chart of accounts, we can load that file. We'll go to that file. This is the, here we have files, chart of accounts file in zip file, financials, common entities. Financial common entities means ledger, LE and BUs. So this is a chart of accounts. You just by going through this, you cannot do anything. This is a zip file. Within this, with this extension XML, we have all the data. Okay. So once system will generate, it will be taking into the respective supported format. We don't need to do anything. So this is how it will take. See here, the primary balance and segment and all. This is how you can have all the information in that sheet. Something like some flat file kind of file generation. The logic which they implemented, accordingly the file will get generated. Fine. So this file we have to load it. For that, the task is upload chart of accounts. Just click on upload chart of accounts. Click on browse, and here is our file. Select chart of accounts and submit. Once you submit, what system is going to create now? We'll see in the sequence. Say OK. Now it is running the process job. Now this file is going to create what? Okay, the COA file. What it will create? It will create, first it will create value sets. First it will create value sets, then it will create COA structure, then it will create segments within that, and it will map labels, segment labels, and it will create COA instance, and it will deploy, and it will create segment values, and for the same segment values it will set value attributes. Nothing but segment qualifier.
Sir, I think
these are all systems.
I think we have not mentioned.
Sorry?
Value attributes. We have not mentioned value attributes in the Excel, right, sir? I mean, segment qualifiers in R12, just like R12.
No.
This is nothing but.
By default, what value attribute system will take whenever you create the segment value for any segment? By default.
No idea. Actually, I'm going to R12 classes now.
Okay.
No idea.
Even R12 also it happens same. It will take allow budgeting, allow posting as a yes, right? Here,
yes.
Yeah, yes. Here it will take the same value attributes, and for account segment values, value attribute we given account type, right? Account type we given for all.
Yes.
This is the account type. This is the value attribute only.
Okay. Okay.
Value attribute.
Okay, got it.
Allow budgeting, allow posting by default yes. That's how it will take the value attributes. Fine. So
okay. Got it, sir.
Will do.
Lakshman, what about if we want to, for certain accounts which are control accounts, we don't want the values to budget or post? Do we have to go manually and deselect those?
Exactly. After creating, you have to do in that way. But the parent, it won't take S. It will take by default no. Parent value.
Yeah, because it's
okay. We don't use for transaction.
It will, right. It won't post at parent.
No only. If the value is child value, it takes allow budgeting, allow posting as yes.
But for parent, it will
How
take
would the
budgeting.
cross-validation rules?
For parent, it takes no only. If you want to change later,
no for budgeting. No for budgeting also.
Yes, budgeting also it will take no. If you have a scenario where you want to do at the parent level, you can go and change to yes, then you can proceed with that scenario. Generally how it should be, that's how it will take. By default, Field values, allow budgeting, allow posting, yes, for all the segments values. And if it is a parent, allow budgeting, allow posting, no. That's all.
Okay, and Lakshman, one more question. The file which you created for the chart of accounts, the system itself created that as a zip file. You did not have to zip it.
No, I didn't do that. Right? I just submitted on generate file, right?
Right. Okay. So it creates a .rar by its own.
Exactly. Just we have to click on this, then system will generate.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Fine.
Last one. Just going back to the file, going back to the upload file, I have a question. I may have missed it out.
Please.
So do we have any future for third-party control accounts?
Yeah, third-party control accounts, yes, we have. That manually you have to set it up. You cannot include in that. Once you create the values, okay, you have to go to specific value and you can specify that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
One more quick question, if I missed something here, Lakshman. How about the cross-validation rules?
Sorry?
Cross-validation.
There is some noise.
Yeah. Lakshman, how about cross-validation rules? Is there any such feature?
Yeah, we have. That is separate one, right? Once everything is ready, then you can set up cross-validation rules on your chart of account structure segments.
Okay, it's outside of this rapid implementation.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
The flex field qualifier and the segment qualifier concepts will stay here too, right?
Sorry?
The flex field qualifier and the segment qualifier concept in EBS will be here too, right?
Yeah, we have here segment qualifiers and flex field qualifier, but naming convention they changed. The flex field qualifiers we are calling as segment labels, and the segment qualifiers we are calling as value attributes.
Can you repeat that, please?
Segment qualifiers we are calling as value attributes. Flex field qualifiers we are calling as segment labels.
Thank you.
Yeah. But seems to in this environment there is some issues, error is encountering. No issues. So it's already 9:40. We'll continue from here in the next session. Okay. So in the next session we'll go and check one by one. Okay. Just in the today's session, what we did, we just completed till uploading the file. Just we submitted that file. We generated file. The chart of accounts file we uploaded. Okay. Now once the upload process complete normal, we'll go and check one by one. That we'll do in the next session.
Okay, Lakshman, I have a question. You were always saying until this month end, it will be morning 8 to 9:30, and month end is done now. So what is your opinion of changing the time?
I just may need just 2 or max 3 more days. Time will for sure will be switching. Max I need 2 or 3 days. 2 or 3 sessions will be running by following the same timings. Then we'll switch prepone to 6 as we planned.
Thanks for the answer. We'll never ask. You do it. Thanks.
Fine, Srini. Thank you. Fine. Any other questions, please?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one template which you have downloaded, Rapid template, and is saved in one folder. And when generated the chart of accounts file, automatically the folder is the generated file has got into the same folder, right?
No, we have to save it. Where you want to save, we have to save. Don't go direct.
I mean, it is save as. Yeah, you done save as or automatically has done?
No, see, it created a file and it asked us to place that file in the specific folder or path.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Just it generates.
Lakshman, join the session.
Yeah.
I joined the sessions today, Lakshman. Just have a couple of questions regarding like general questions.
Okay, okay. Kirit, shall we connect after this session? I'll ask the team to call so that we can discuss.
Sure, sure.
Yeah? Fine, fine. Fine.
Hey,
Any other
Lakshman.
Couple questions from my end.
Yeah.
First one, when we upload this file right to the cloud,
yeah.
So is it going through the UCM behind the screens, or UCM means we always need to drop it somewhere?
Thank you, Lakshman.
Uploading.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it will go through the UCM process only, but we no need to just involve. Any uploads or imports or exports happens through UCM channel only.
Okay, we don't see them, but typically it goes through the same methodology.
Yeah,
okay.
Yes.
All right. And the second one, because the other cloud instance, which is 5401, did not come up, so would you be able to provide the user credential for the instance you're using now?
Yeah, just we'll see till today afternoon. Still, if there is any delay to get that instance up, I'll definitely by end of today I'll be providing the new instance credentials, so that you can start this also. You can practice this. Yep, I'll do it. We'll wait for today afternoon. Okay, so maybe.
What is UCM, Lakshman?
Sorry.
What is UCM?
UCM, Universal Content Management.
Oh.
Okay. For primarily when you do the data conversions, the data would be routed from files to respective targeted interface tables, finally to base tables through UCM only. We'll see that in the introduction classes we discussed about the term, and as a part of enterprise structure. The enterprise structure in the middleware, we have UCM, which supports for data imports and exports. We'll be working on that. Within the payables itself, we'll start working on that UCM process. How to load the file into UCM, how you can find the file which is there in the UCM, how you can select as a parameter to populate the data into interface. That will come to know.
Lakshman, by any chance, for this rapid implementation, Oracle Cloud is using UCM functionality?
See, as some task, you no need to go and do anything. The process they automated. What we have to do is, for this rapid implementation, the sheet you have to submit, that will be holded by UCM only till it will execute with a proper with the data which is available within the sheet. UCM,
okay, so the underlying,
manually we just navigate to that page and see in case of data conversions.
Right. So the underlying technology even for this is sort of UCM, which Oracle is using.
Yeah, it's a UCM is like staging, temporary purpose. The file will be stored. That's all.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We can say something like our current FTP, right? It's a Huawei FTP file to somebody else's servers. Now here we are moving files from our desktop to the cloud server, right? So
yes,
it's a kind of behaves like that, right?
Yeah. Within the instance environment, it's a staging environment. Say, or else you are bringing the files from other system to Fusion. First, we'll get into UCM. The files will be, you keep them there for temporary purpose till you bring that file data into interface tables. That's how the UCM has a function.
Lakshman, what about the suppliers, customers, open balances? How to bring in rapid way?
Yeah, for that we don't use rapid. They give an FBDI process, file-based data import. We'll be covering that. We have as a part of our course curriculum. We'll see. The process is totally different. It is similar to rapid implementation approach which we are discussing. This is a rapid implementation.
Okay.
What is the difference? It looks like in both cases we are populating spreadsheets.
Yeah, you'll see like when we work on that. See here when you talk about this process, this is a direct load. when you talk about data conversion, that is a step-by-step execution.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll see.
So there are a few other
Okay,
points.
another.
Once we start working on that, you'll come to know, and if still any questions, we'll discuss. But the simple difference is, this is for direct load purpose. That is for that is a step-by-step process. First, we'll put the data, we'll generate the file, then we'll place into UCM. From UCM to interface tables, we'll move the data. From interface to base tables, we'll be moving the data. In between, you can do that some changes when data is in the interface. But if this you are going to load in one go, data will be available in the sheet, and you'll target to the instance, and there will be these setups will be created in the system. There is no intermediate step which you can perform, modify in between or on the fly. Okay, that's how it's different. So any other questions, please?
I have a question. Can you take a look at the 2 emails I sent? I think you were going to look at it. Maybe you didn't find time. You can maybe respond during the weekend.
Fine, Raju. Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. So any other questions, please?
Have a good day, Lakshman. Bye.
Yeah, thanks, Rini. Good day.
All right, take care. Good day. Bye.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye, Lakshman.
Yeah.
Have a nice week.
Okay, fine.
Bye.
Okay. Thank you all. If you don't have any questions, we can wind up for today, and we'll connect on Monday as per India calendar. Hardly we may have 2 or 3 sessions by following the same times, the 8 a.m. IST. Then later we'll be switching to 6 a.m. IST. Means we'll prepone it. Fine, that's all for today. See you on Monday. Have a good day and good night. If any questions, you can stay back and we can discuss. I'll be available in the meeting for 10 more minutes. Thank you all.